Hey guys, Shifty back here. I'm doing a commentary on a 2v2. First 2v2 ever, and it's gonna be and this is really corny. I just thought of this. A TNT, like that explosive. No, never mind. TNT versus a TNZ, which sounds like TMZ. Anyways, this is the first game I'm doing since I finished the placement matches with this friend of mine, Zellabris. He's a platinum player. He's platinum 1v1, so he's alright. Anyways, 2v2, first match of after the 5 placement matches, and we got placed in platinum. So, I mean, because we won all 5 of them, but that was just because the other people sucked, not because we were fantastically good, especially because I did not know any of the maps, and I was just kind of going around with it. I know where the ramp is, and I could guess where the enemy is. That's about it. Regardless, it's still pretty fun to play 2v2 because it offers a totally different game. And I just want to clarify that 2v2, the mindset you have to play with is completely different, because for one, you can't rely on yourself. First, you can't rely on yourself, obviously, to win, because you have an ally who has to build up 50% of the army. But 2, you can't rely on a macro game. You can't just go for expansions and hold those off. You have to go for, essentially, as I would like to say, an all-in. Because with 2v2s, if you go for an expansion, for example, that means you're not going for all those lost minerals you put into that expansion. You are not building units. And I know in StarCraft 1, if you do not, and oh, look at this, I messed up my scout. I don't even know where to look. Anyways, the thing is that if you mess up your scout, then what am I saying? I did mess up my scout, but I'm saying if you mess up, what do you mess up? I don't know. If you go for your expansion, you go for less units, and then your allies, if they didn't, they have just more units, and they can easily overwhelm you. And that's what happened in StarCraft 1, is that you have to be careful when you play 2v2s, because you essentially sacrifice SCVs, you sacrifice worker production for more units, and you faster, the earlier you can get up your production buildings. But I am not going to be following that mindset very strictly. I'm still playing like a 1v1, except that I'm building, I'm teaming up with my ally. And this guy pulls all his drones off the line to get my SCV, which he got it, but it's very risky, because what happens is that you could miss the worker, and the worker just gets right out, but what happens is you lose that mining time, and your drones are all out of place temporarily. So that's very annoying. It's very risky, but if it works, then it pays off. Anyways, this is backtracking for maybe the last minute or so. The Zerg player got a spawning pool really late. By the time I scouted, it was halfway finished, so I thought that was a little sketchy. I didn't know why, and that's why I immediately pulled my drone my SCV out of his base and went right to his natural, because usually a late pool signals to me a fast expand, but it could also be getting a 14 hatch, which I don't find 14 pool, which I don't find too common anymore. Seems most players like to go for the 12 pool, and then if they wanted to expand, they expand soon. I don't know the pool. I don't really look at these things because I don't play Zerg. Anyways, so I'm getting up my Reapers, and I just want to say that for me to harass the Zerg player, it's very easy, because the Zerg player has a ledge right behind his mineral line. So for Reapers, that's just a Reaper's dream. It's just what you want to do. You jump right up, snipe a few drones, and just go right out. So it's really, really nice, really effective, and it's just nice. Anyways, I'm building up more Reapers, constantly pumping them out. I'm not researching nitrogen packs just because I feel like against Zerglings, once he gets speed, because I know he will eventually, it's just not that great, because Zerglings with speed can circle the Reapers. Anyways, I only get 2 drones, but that's alright. I'm harassing him, which I know this it shouldn't, but if it does, that's alright with me. I like that. If he goes for more Zerglings instead of drones, but it looks like he's already got a fair amount of drones saturated his mineral line. Anyways, I lose 1 Reaper. I attack his queen a lot, which means he wasn't spewing that larva crap. and that's about it. Yep, got more Reapers, gonna be going for more harass, just hitting and running his Zerglings, and he has a bunch of them in the center, so that's effective. Anyways, what do I have? I have a lot of money. I should be throwing down more barracks because I could be producing a lot more. And my ally, I mean, he's going for Banshees, so that means he's not building as much bio units or anything like that. But that's okay. He comes in to help me with his Helions, threatens his Zerglings. It's fine with me. I'm building up my starport now. And oh, take back all the words I just said. I throw down a command center. I guess I just felt. I mean, it's. Let's just say what I'm saying is what you should be doing, and what I'm doing is what I want to do, but what you really shouldn't do. Expanding is not too sound in this game, or just not in this game, but I'm saying with this mindset, with this how you should play this game. Expanding is just risky. You have less units. You're building more SCVs. It's just a huge investment when you go for that expansion instead of more units. But to a certain extent, there is a point where you need to get an expansion, or else you can't support the production of your units out of all your production buildings. With 2 barracks, a factory, and a starport, I still could. But soon enough, if I throw down more barracks, I'm not going to be able to unless, I don't know. But now I'm going to, and if you see, I'm building out of every production building, and I throw down that barracks, my money, I'm getting somewhat more every round, every cycle, but still not that much more. Anyways, so I'm building up the bio army that you should have. You got the medevacs, you got marauders and marines, and hopefully throwing some tanks there, and that's just a good army against Zerg, especially. Against Terran, not so much. If the Terran just goes for mass tanks, it'll be really difficult to hold. And that's what I really don't like playing against Zerg and Terran. But anyways, he's got a lot of spore crawlers, which is a waste of money. But now I'm just going to town on his drones. Got 5 drones. And also, I really do not, not that negative. I don't support. I recommend you don't build Zergling building defenses at the back of your base, unless you're getting harassed all the time. But, I mean, he's got 3 spore crawlers. Each one's 150, I think, right? Zerg players, you have to help me out. I'm not really sure. I don't even know the hotkeys. Anyways, you're spending money on that, and it's more than that, because as a Zerg player, you use a drone. You use a drone to build those buildings, so you're losing, not only are you spending a lot of resources building those instead of units, you're losing mining time, so you're losing even more money as the game goes on and on. So that's just not good, and he's got a lot of Zerglings in the back of the base, which, if he moved out and did some damage, I mean, hit and run, I guess, maybe, but he's not doing that, and I just want to say that all those Zerglings, I don't know, he should really switch up his tech. Zerglings are effective early game, but once you get to mid game, where you have Helions, Thors, tanks, all that stuff, Zerglings get demolished by them. It just doesn't do that much damage. And so here he comes. He comes with all his Zerglings, and let's see what he tries to do here. And he attacks my ally straight on. And my ally's got Marines, Banshees, Marauders, Helions. And again, this is what I was trying to say, is that you need unit, what is the word? Oh, and this is the reason, it's because he did that as a distraction for the blue Terran player to do a drop. But you know what I say? I say, go to hell with my ally, I'm going for a counterattack. Anyways, getting my upgrades up, building more medevacs. I mean, I'm just pumping out of my production buildings as best as I can, throwing more down, medevacs, all that stuff, all that good stuff. Anyways, the blue Terran player, that was a very he invested a lot in that drop. Seems like it's probably going to be the bulk of his army, because he is not producing out of his factory, which I assume he has bad micro-control. Anyways, back to the game. I'm still building out of my, it's going to be five barracks soon enough, but right now I have production buildings all running on max. I'm not letting my micro slip, And so with this small army, I'm gonna do a lot of damage. But this is what I really like when what you do is you do damage to the economy and you build up the lost army almost immediately. So though the other player might have a bigger economy, they spend the next whatever resources rebuilding the economy. I meant if the other player has bigger army. They spend money building the economy instead of armies, so you just come out ahead because you can keep building bigger and bigger army. So while you make up the money you lost building up your army, he has to make up the building he lost build up economy, and that's just slower because the economy gets slowly and slowly better exponentially. Back to this, my ally he got really decimated over here. He lost all his. Look at that little carrot face. Anyways, I've got him covered. I've got units to spare, and because I really like this 2 barracks with 2 tech labs with 3 reactors. That means you're getting 6 Marines and 2 Marauders at a time, which I like that army composition because you don't need too many Marauders, but you do need a fair amount. But Marines are more cost effective and they're better. Anyways, I think that was worth the trade-off for my allies base for the blue Terran's economy, because what happened was I took out the bulk of the blue Terran's SCVs, and he now has to spend time rebuilding it, whereas he took out the blue Terran in exchange for all my allies' buildings. And he still actually has 3 barracks left, so he has 3 production buildings left. But he is able to easily build that up because he saved his SCVs, whereas the blue Terran, he has to build up SCVs in his main, which is already almost mined out, and my ally he is building it up at his natural with completely new minerals. So in this we came out on top, and look at this, he's barely got any units. He's got 1 tank, 2 Marines, and 3 medevacs, but I refuse to attack him because I want to take out the Zerg. Sorry, guys, burp right there. Another one. Anyways, I want to take out the Zerg because I know the Terran is already hurt enough that if I don't damage the Zerg, the only one who comes out on top, or if I take out the Terran, it wouldn't do too much because he's already weak enough. I could easily take him out, and what happens is that the Zerg stays alive and keeps building up. So what I do is my goal is to at least bring the Zerg player down to the level of the Terran player. And if you look at this, I've got a big enough army in my main again, a second army essentially. So what I do is I just need to do enough damage, and doing enough damage, he is gonna stay alive. My ally stays alive because they no longer have units, and me, the Terran player has almost no units, no economy. There's no way his income can compare with mine, so he can't produce as much. So even though I didn't attack him and take him out, the production of my bases, I could still easily catch up to him in his army, in his base, if I lose my army completely in my base, or at the Zerg's base. So that's just, you really have to make a judgment call on that sometimes. It's just, do you want to take out the player who's already weak and prevent him from building up, or use your army and build up and attack the enemy who was uninjured at the risk of letting the injured player build up again. So that's just a decision call, and I wouldn't decide to go for the Zerg because I feel the Terran has got nothing he can do. Anyways, I've essentially got 2 armies right now. If you look at my hotkeys, hotkey 1, 28 units, hotkey 2, 34 units. If you add those up, that is a huge, massive army. And that's just because with the production that I'm able to run out of 2 bases, I can just constantly pump out these bio units at no risk. And I see that he's got a planetary fortress, and he expanded. So that means he's going to be trying to get his economy up as fast as possible while I'm getting the gold. So the gold is essentially 1.3 out of 5. It's 1.6. Wait, you guessed 7. 1.4. It's 1.4 the times the benefit of a normal mineral. But look at this. He's protecting his base with tanks. But look at this. I just send in my second army and he's done. And that's about it, guys. It's GG. Thanks for watching. I'll put more if wanted. Thanks, guys.